In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to make crispy chicken tenders, a pizza that is made in 20 minutes, and a high-protein banana bread recipe, all three using the air fryer. Let's start with the chicken tenders. So, here I have 400 grams of chicken tenderloins. Tenderloins are a small strip that is kind of attached to the chicken breast that you see here. It is the most tender part of the breast and therefore perfect for crispy tenders. However, you can also cut a regular chicken breast into 2.5 centimeter or 1 inch thickness and make the recipe with that. Now, one downside to using tenderloin is that they all have this white string-like thing attached to it. This is called a tendon. I recommend removing this tendon before cooking the chicken. It will not melt and it is not super pleasant to chew on. Removing it works relatively well if you use a fork to hold the chicken and then with a piece of paper towel, grab the tendon and pull it off. If this doesn't work, then you can also use a sharp knife. It will take a bit more time, however. So, once you removed all the tendons, prepare 3 plates for the breading. In the first plate, I'm gonna add 50 grams of flour. This is completely enough for the amount of chicken I'm gonna cook. Then crack 2 whole eggs into the second plate and give it a mix with a fork. Into the final plate, you need to add the breading. Now, there is a breading called panko. This is a Japanese-style breading and is super crispy and also airy. If you can't find this, you can also go with cornflakes. Just put 50 grams of cornflakes into a plastic bags and then, with anything that is heavy like a pan, just hit the cornflakes for a minute or so and it will turn into the perfect consistency for breading. Add it to the last plate and then season it with a pinch of salt, freshly cracked black pepper and a couple of dashes of cayenne pepper and then give it a mix. The little kick from the cayenne actually works quite well with cornflake breading. So, take a piece of chicken, place it into the flour until it is covered, then it goes into the eggs and finally into the cornflake mix. The flour is there so the eggs stick to the meat and the eggs are there so the breading can stick as well. That is why most recipes use these 3 in a combo. Repeat this step until all the chicken pieces are breaded and now take a look at the leftovers. In the plate of the flour there is still half left. I only used maybe 1 egg as well, and in the cornflakes batter there is also still something left. So what I want to say is don't overfill the plates, you need way less than you think. Okay, pick up your air fryer, set it to 180 degrees Celsius or 355 F and set the timer to 10 minutes. I like to let it preheat for 1 minute, then place all the chicken tenders into the basket. I will also show you the difference between spraying some oil on top of the tenders. I bet you've seen this in recipes a lot without knowing the reason. I will give half the batch a spray on top. Okay, 9 minutes later, the tenders are ready, and now take a look at the color. Do you see that on the right side, the breading color is slightly more golden brown? That is because of the oil. It distributes the heat more evenly and increases the amount of browning on the batter, which leads to a lot more flavor. So, take yourself a plate and now listen to these sounds. Super crispy for an air fry recipe. Also, I like to combine 25 grams of light mayo with 15 grams of low sugar ketchup and 10 grams of mustard. This is a speedy sauce that you can now dip your tenders in and enjoy. For this recipe, I used 400 grams of chicken, which is quite a lot, and the macros for the entire recipe are 873 calories, 61 grams of carbs, 23 grams of fat, and 98 grams of protein. Moving on to a pizza that is made in about 20 minutes. Add 70 grams of flour into a bowl, followed up by a pinch of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder and give it a whisk. This, by the way, is how self-rising flour is made. After that, add 70 grams of non-fat Greek yogurt and 4 grams of olive oil. Mix it for a couple of seconds with a spoon and then go in with your hands and start kneading the dough for about 1 minute until you have a dough ball. The dough should be a little sticky here without gluing onto your hands. Now, one cool part about this dough is that you can easily change the size of your pizza by adding the same amount of flour and yogurt. So if you want to make it bigger next time, just add another 10 grams of yogurt and 10 grams of flour and that's it. We are going to bake this in an air fryer that was sent to me by the sponsor of today's video, Typhur. This is the Typhur Dome 2. I air fried with this device during the last week and I like it a lot. First of all, it looks really cool in my opinion, kind of futuristic, and it has a touch screen which I found very fitting. The Dome 2 comes with 15 different modes that you can use. It includes pizza, bacon, steak, wings, fries, air fry, toast, grill, bake, and a bunch more. You can switch the temperature between Celsius and Fahrenheit, which is useful when you use recipes from different parts of the world. As you can see, it also has the Wi-Fi sign. This device can connect to your home Wi-Fi and then you connect it to the Typhur app, in which you can control settings like cooking mode or temperature, and you can also activate the self-cleaning mode. This is a nice aspect of the device. It helps remove the grease and grime in the top cavity for easier cleanup. This air fryer is also equipped with dual top and bottom heating elements, which leads to evenly cooked food from top to bottom. I'm a big fan of this device, and right now it's Prime Day, so this air fryer is at its lowest price of the year. Click the link in the description or type in Felu Cook on the Typhur website to get the Typhur Dome 2 air fryer at its lowest price of the year. So pull out the air fryer basket, add 2 grams of oil and spread it around the surface. This will help so the pizza doesn't stick. Now add in the dough ball and gently press it down and then towards the edges, and slowly but surely it will get into a round pizza shape. Now this won't be a perfectly Neapolitan level pizza shape, but hey, at least it's made in a couple of minutes. So air fry this now at 180 degrees Celsius, so 355 F for 10 minutes. You want to cook the dough before adding the toppings, as the dough needs a bit longer. Once the pizza dough has this nice golden brown color, you can now add 70 grams of tomato sauce. Personally, I have this store-bought sauce. I don't bother making myself when I make this speedy pizza. A lot of them are quite nice though. As a protein source, I'm gonna add 50 grams of turkey breast. This is a very good source of protein with 106 calories and 21 grams of protein. Rip it into pieces and add it on top. And finally, I'm going to add 50 grams of shredded mozzarella cheese. So back into the air fryer it goes for an additional 5 minutes at the same temperature, and the pizza is ready. Look, this is of course not as good as from your local pizzeria, but for 20 minutes of work, this is damn good. I hope you try this out. The macros for one pizza are 605 calories, 74 grams of carbs, 19 grams of fat, and 38 grams of protein. Next is a banana bread recipe. I love this one. It starts with 60 grams of oat flour into a bowl. You don't need to buy oat flour. You can simply add 60 grams of oats into a blender and blend on high for 60 seconds, and you made your homemade oat flour. Next is 30 grams of vanilla protein powder. You can use whey or casein for this recipe, they both work. Then add a pinch of salt, half a teaspoon of baking powder, a quarter teaspoon of baking soda, and then give everything a good whisk. Next, take out the bowl and add in 1 banana. Ripe bananas work really well for banana bread as they are a lot sweeter than unripe bananas. I also like to add the juice of half a lemon. Then with a fork, mash the banana and mix it until it turns into a mush-like consistency. Add 100 grams of skyr or fat-free Greek yogurt, and finally crack in 1 whole egg and then give everything a good stir. Add these now to the dry ingredients and mix everything together with a spatula. If you use casein protein powder, you might need to add a splash or about 50 grams of milk into the recipe, otherwise it will be a bit sticky. That is not the case with whey, however, you don't need to add any milk in that case. So, prepare a baking dish. I have these aluminum foil ones. They are 14 times 20 centimeter or 5 times 8 inches. Spray in some oil so nothing sticks, transfer in the batter and spread it around evenly, and this now goes into the air fry basket and then into the air fryer at 180 degrees Celsius or 355 F for 20 to 30 minutes. This depends on the baking dish that you use. Mine was ready after 20 minutes. Now, your banana bread might look a bit burnt, but this is deeply caramelized batter. Baking soda actually helps create this, and this has a lot of flavor, so if you think it is burnt, please give it a try first. You will be surprised. So, let it cool down for 20 minutes, and there you go, a banana bread from the air fryer that has 790 calories, 90 grams of carbs, 9 grams of fat, and 60 grams of protein.